I'm very happy to welcome Kevin Nolan here to the Soundfeed studio. Thanks for coming in, Kevin.
No problem.
How are you doing?
Good.
Good. I was gonna ask you about you are maybe at the end of or still in the middle of a long process of being the subject of a documentary by director Nathan Fagan Guimond.
That's true.
And you mentioned previously that near the beginning when that all started that you weren't fully aware of how the documentary was going to unfold or what Nathan had in mind. Has that become any clearer as time has passed?
It's become a little clearer.
Yeah.
It's been over a year now he's been filming. And yeah, I got a certain notion, you know.
Yeah.
Although we will sit down and watch the final cut. It's in the editing. He's editing it at the moment.
Yeah.
So the two of us will sit down and watch a final cut or a draft or whatever.
Yeah.
So then I guess I'll know the whole story then.
Yeah.
And we'll find out whether it's ready for public consumption or whatever. But I think it's generally about music for sure.
Yeah.
And art in general, because I do a few things.
Yeah.
And it's also about my kind of disposition within all that.
Yeah.
And that's generally what it's about.
Yeah, and it's interesting with music, say loosely termed music documentaries, that a lot of people go into them, like say the recent Nick Cave one, or you know, and they think that okay, we're just going to get like a day in the life kind of a thing, but the story often is completely different to what the viewer expects, you know. So
yeah. Well, Nathan's I haven't seen that Nick Cave one. I'd like to see it, but with Nathan, yeah, it's not just your average documentary in a way.
Yeah.
It's kind of, he's straddling between documenting, but also trying to make a beautiful piece of film.
Yeah.
So it won't be. I wouldn't say it would be as raw as some documentaries, which I love. But yeah. So you don't know what you're going to get. Yeah.
I mean, we have had a kind of small glimpse into like you just mentioned the beauty of what Nathan's kind of vision is with the video for Drowning recently.
Well, that's a good example. I mean, that was Nathan. That's going to probably be in the documentary.
Yeah.
So that's a good example.
Personally, hope so. Yeah. It was so that was done out in the Axis on the stage. And
yeah, I was recently for 6 months. That is, I was the artist in residence there in Axis, so I had full access to the theatre there, the dance hall, the recording studio. Yeah. I recorded some of my new album there.
Great, yeah. And coming on to the album, I was just thinking that your debut album, Frederick and the Golden Dawn, you had kind of touched on reference points like, you know, Tom Waits and diverse ones actually, in Stereolab and Steve Reich, but you also had kind of said that when you move on to the second album, which you're in the process of putting together, that you like to almost like clear your palate like a sommelier, and leave those kind of parts behind and move on to new.
Yeah, it wasn't really for sure.
I know, not dwelling on kind of the aspect of influences or anything like that, but
it actually wasn't a conscious thing. I didn't go, okay, enough of you guys.
I
want some new friends,
because they're always going to be there.
You know, it was more of a kind of a natural artistic growth. I just felt that I'd really explored and I felt if I explored it again, that it wouldn't be essentially something that would surprise me or make me think twice, or you know, it wouldn't be something I would really want to do again. So, and as you say, I mean, it's not as if they disappeared off into space. They're still there. So they're always, and I absolutely love them. They're deep inside of me, but they're just you know, you can't have the same meal for weeks and weeks and weeks. You got to change, you know.
Yeah.
So these new guys, and I don't really fully know who they are. I think maybe they'll tell me who they are over the while. Yeah. But there's definitely, you probably not even gonna believe this one.
Yeah.
But there's a bit of funk in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
now, I didn't even think that was coming.
Yeah.
That arrived uninvited. But but nonetheless, it became roomy and homey and
And any idea where it came from? Did it just come when you were
Well, no,
writing, or
I
was it?
I had this riff from a long, long time ago. See, I write over decades.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had this riff, and I put it down. I put it down in a kind of a, let's say, the new Kevin,
Yeah.
Nolan, whatever, has grown a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
But when I put it down and started working on it, I realised how. And maybe you wouldn't think so, but I just think there is. It's in 13/8, which is kind of a weird time signature.
Yeah.
But it's really funky and, but yet at the same time it's still very. You can hear the shadows and the touches of my former influences in there.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just growing. It's just moving and I'm not going to stand in its way this time because I kind of did last time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I said no. Get into shape, buddy. You
Yeah,
know, you're
yeah.
going to do what I say.
Yeah, yeah.
Song.
But this time
But
you're
now I kind of
open and letting it all in, and
for better or
whatever
worse,
sticks and stays.
for better or worse, it's a scary place to be. It's a scary place to be, to
I
let
imagine
yourself
so.
go like that.
Yeah,
and not
yeah.
take control. It's.
Yeah.
I often think about it. It's like the second child. You know, with the first child, you're very kind of controlling and you wanted to do
The rule book.
With the second child, you give more freedom. You know?
Yeah. So I like that analogy because parents are very like. Spend the months of the pregnancy reading and reading.
Yeah.
And then the second one, they're kind of like,
and
let's not stress over too much.
It's completely understandable that they would do that. I'm sure I did the same, but it seems they kind of similarly so. I've relaxed with this second album.
And you're also obviously a large part of your creative work body would be in poetry, and you that's something that you've done for just as long as you've been writing music, and often there's obviously a crossover, but you've released or you've published a couple of books, and there's another one on the way shortly.
There is indeed. It's a book. It's long. It's a big one. It's a big one this time. Something like 60 poems.
Okay.
And it's broken up into 5 books, and it's a collection with my collaborator Suzanne Vavra.
Yeah.
And so it's our second collection.
Yeah.
And we're very excited about it, and we're looking to push it to publishers now, and we have a little bit of help with that, so that's good
great.
too. So we're super excited about it.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of it's got a wide understanding of what it could be, what it is. Its definition is not pinned down to just a poetry book.
Yeah.
So that's about as much as I'm allowed to say.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Can't have a reveal all just yet. We need to keep some things under the hat.
Yeah.
And the other thing, just from my own perspective, we've kind of known each other loosely over a period of over a year. We got down one time in an interview, which I was very, very. That was very good, and I loved that. So we got to know each other in that sense. We did, and then finally got to meet in person at one of your shows in the Grand Social, and but from my perspective, looking on the outside, I kind of.
That'd be really interesting to know. What does it look like?
What does it look like on the outside?
Because I already know the inside.
Yeah, but it's obviously a very quite a limited observation. But I kind of imagine in a way, not just in the music, but in terms of the whole Kevin Nolan package, even how you approach kind of live performance. You're kind of like a kite when someone's looking at a kite and it looks kind of randomly. Moving in directions, but it is being controlled by something. It's being controlled by the wind. But do you feel like that the creativity is kind of like a kind of an entity that kind of you're almost lent to a kind of submission to it, but you are willing to go in the direction things push you? Or?
It sounds to me like a little bit like you're talking about. Freedom within structure.
Yeah.
Within structures.
Yeah.
And everyday life is a structure.
Yeah.
Okay, I get you. Yeah, it's really like improv, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a lovely artist, Mary Margaret O'Hara.
Okay.
I don't know if you know
I
her.
haven't, no.
Real interesting stuff.
Yeah.
She did Miss America. Anyway, I don't. It's not a plug. I don't know her.
Yeah.
I wish I knew her.
Yeah.
But
maybe after this.
but do listen.
Yeah, check her out, yeah.
She's a very interesting improv vocalist.
Yeah.
But do I believe that? How much do I believe I have control over what I do, and how much do I believe
It has control over you.
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing to do.
Mm.
But essentially, I think all artistic, every artistic venture is a process.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a process because it wouldn't happen without a process. Art is doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's, I mean, you don't really know what's going to happen. You just take the first step and continue with it. You have no control over anything. You know what I mean? It's a weird question.
It evolves in its own directions as time goes on, and
well, there's different ways of writing. For instance, my first album was very constructed, but then, like I was a very cruel master for my first album. I made it do what I wanted it to do.
Yeah.
But at the very same time, I think you have to have a lovely balance of being the controller. And also, it's a very to bring back the child analogy.
Yeah.
To be the controller, but also to give freedom.
Yeah.
And to know when to give freedom, to know when to control. I don't know. You know, it's a difficult one. You know.
And do you think you just get better
at it
as time goes on?
I think you definitely do get better at it because knowing when to knowing when to give freedom. Like even with an artist, like some artists I meet, a guitarist, I know some of them are just they won't do anything interesting if you tell them what to do.
Yeah.
But if you give them freedom and you let them kind of be free wailing for a while, then suddenly you'll find gold within the expression.
Yeah.
But at the same time, are they truly free in what they're doing or not? I kind of know. It's kind of is the way you're putting it is any improv free? Is it truly improv? And then have you ever heard of this thing called there's this wonderful way of writing called automatic writing?
No.
They used to do it in the 1800s. It was actually part of psychotherapy or some sort of kind of therapy kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was just literally where you just write whatever comes into your head. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, okay.
And you just automatic writing.
Yeah.
And they used to look down and they'd find these kind of every now and again a lot of gibberish.
Yeah.
But sometimes they'd find some sort of truths too.
Okay.
And it was kind of and automatic just speaking and. It's kind of it's a strange thing. I guess it's all the spirit that moves us.
Yeah. And just giving your brain just not unleashing it, but just letting it go and kind of.
It's a truly tough question. I think I'm better doing it than explaining it.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of that's all about expression, I suppose.
Yeah,
it comes through in music, and rather than having to. Describe it, verbally.
Although, I love to, if I'm guilty, it's my guilty pleasure, is to kind of really kind of, kind of think about these things.
Yeah.
Cognize about. I mean, it's a great way, it's a great process.
Yeah.
Thinking is a great process in order to come up with ideas,
Yeah.
Like if you really think about anyway, that's why I do it. Conceptual stuff, I would think about the basics of the concepts of certain things and like different strands of art forms, like you'd have painting and then you'd have music and then you'd say, well look, how can I this is a silly example, but how can I paint a song or how can I sing a painting and you cross over artworks and you cognitize enough and you think about the very kind of essence of what something is and to go back to that before you set forth. So thinking sometimes I don't write songs with a guitar or piano, or I wouldn't have any instrument. I just sit there thinking, what kind of a song would I like? I know I love that sort of drums. I love this. I love that kind of guitar. And then what about some sort of like Jonah Gilberto, Jeepa stuff? Throw some of that in.
Yeah.
And then I dream up songs most of the time. More so than actually sit down at a piano. I'll dream up the atmosphere.
Yeah. That's amazing. And so aside from the obviously the book of poetry and the new album en route, is there and the documentary? Well, you're a busy man, but is there anything else? Soon have you any? Yeah,
there's other stuff in other art forms that I'm doing. Very exciting stuff, but You've
got enough on your plate.
I won't. I won't go into that, but when it's a bit more mature, surely be able
to share it. Yeah, that's great. And any live performances planned musically, or are you going to wait until the album's is kind of more or less complete and then think about that? Or?
No, actually, there's a possible band that I might have soon, so I might take advantage of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I love playing live, but I find the logistics a little
disconcerting.
The logistics can be an impediment to enjoying. Getting up there and sitting there, and as well as that, because of the way I sing, the way I bellow out that vocal. Try and do that 3 nights in a row, 4 nights in a row. Try and do it 2 nights in a row. Try and do it one night. It's like, most of the time people say. I remember when I recorded Blood Wedding, the guy said, "Whatever you do, don't play that song first. Or else you won't be able to sing another song after."
The end of the set.
Exactly. So
before it started.
There is that too. But having said that, I really love when you enjoy a gig and you get real gone.
Yeah. Well, listen, Kevin, thank you very much for coming in to visit us here in the Southfield. Really appreciate it, and you had a wonderful performance here earlier as well. So we'll be sharing that out.
Just to say, that was the song I played was the reception of an English play in Paris,
and that's going to be on the new album.
It surely is.
Yes, excellent. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Kevin. Really appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Cool.